Hello everyone, my name is Courtney Hanks. I'm the advisor for University High School in Orange City, Florida, and I advise both yearbook and our news program here. And today I'm just going to be giving you guys a brief overview of Basecamp and how we use it with Slack and just the different benefits it's given us in our program. I run both yearbook and news, which is a lot of work for those of you guys who advise to different staff, so you guys all know this. And it can be really hard to stay on top of my students inside the classroom only. So what we do outside of the classroom is extremely important to us as a staff. So Basecamp has kind of replaced what Trello used to be to us. So for those of you guys who do use Trello, you should see some similarities for not necessarily how it works, but what it does. So there is that in there as well, but we've really liked Basecamp so far as our project management tool. We do still use Slack. I think that I know we did try to eliminate Slack at first. I thought having a single app would be beneficial to my staff and there would be less of a burden on them, but they really, rioted and demanded Slack return. And I think it's for the better. Slack just works better for instant messaging. It's just more organized and it's easy and the kids love it. So Basecamp really is for us more about organization than it is about communication. But you have to communicate your organization, so it works. We're going to start off today with just going over like the basic functions. So I have 3 big functions we use it Basecamp for. The first one is going to be inside of our headquarters. So Basecamp looks like this, and you have these different boards that you can enter and work on. The one up here is our headquarters. Every organization will have a headquarters where all of the groups can see and converge. Then we have our leadership team, so you can have teams separated. In some years past, we've had more than one team going on. We just found that leadership was the only one we used consistently, and I wanted to try to eliminate extra places to put stuff because people lose documents and things if they have too many options. So it's just leadership. That's our team that's separated from the other kiddos. You can also create projects. So we don't do this too frequently, but what we use it mostly for is to create our own independent boards where you can upload files and create your own to-do list that doesn't show up on other people's feeds. So it's just private. You have to assign people to these boards. So it's just between you, yourself, and I, or if you want to have one more person on it, you could. But it works out well for those independent things that you need to do. One of the things that they liked about Slack was that they can message themselves things. So Basecamp does not allow you to do that, but you can create your own project board and you can send yourself files inside of there. Okay, so let's start off with headquarters and how we have our docs and files. So in docs and files, you'll notice we have all these different folders and we use them for a multitude of different things. Sometimes it's to submit an assignment. So like the working with manual photography assignment was recent. I had them in groups. They went out and took photos and posted them here for me to look at for grading. So I can come in and see what they thought was a good photo and see how they tried to capture that motion. And it's just easy for me to grade. I can do it from home. I can do it from my computer. I can do it from my tablet. Basecamp does have an app, so it's nice that it's just nice in my doc every day. I don't have to worry about signing in on my Google Chrome. So yeah, so you can use it to collect assignments for grading. We do it for collecting our PDFs for spreads. We do it for templates. So when they were doing the winter magazine, they had their magazine templates in there. Posts for social media are collected in here. Anything that we really want to have in a single place gets put into this area. We still use Google Drive, but it's mostly for like party signups and Google Forms for when I want to have them post reflections. But this is more for like, what do we all need to see, or like who might need this resource later. So like for instance, the New to You resources, they're doing articles right now where they're writing about the new teachers on campus. And so I gave them some example articles from JEA. I gave them a PowerPoint from JEA just to review interviewing again, an example of how to email the teachers, and an example article. All right, so it's just all in one place. They can easily come in here and find these resources as they write their pieces. And that's pretty much docs and files. Here we have like a dog photo shoot. So this is like a project board. So my kids wanted to plan to do like dog photo shoots for the local animal shelters as a way to give back to our community with service. So they started this board where they're looking at businesses and they have ideas of what they want to do. So Docs and Files helps us to organize things, and it's really easy to use and upload and download, and it's worked out well for us. All right, we also have to-do lists, which are really great for many different reasons. Anybody can create a to-do list, and they can be used to kind of keep kids on track. So for example, our work nights, I always make my kids do a to-do list of what they need to get done that night, because I always find that if I talk to them, they'll say things like, oh, I don't have anything to do. I'm not sure what to work on. And so I force them the first few minutes of our work nights, and on our weekends force them to create a to-do list where they detail out what exactly needs to be done for that spread to be completed. So they can really say at the end whether or not they finished or they did not finish their work. So these are like independent. These kids can come in and make their own to-do list, establish their own deadlines, and come in to complete their work. We also use to-do lists with my leadership staff. So a lot of times like my editors that are photography editors or index editors or business editors, they don't get the same one-on-one attention that I give to my EICs or my managing editors who are working on spreads. Their work is super independent and they have a lot to get done. So they can come in and create their own to-do list, which I encourage them to do. But if I see a kid struggling, I can come in and establish some to-dos where I'm saying, hey, this is a good timeline for you to finish this up, or this is my expectation to you for when this should be finished. So it just kind of keeps everybody on track. I assign them to it, and as they check them off, I'm able to get a notification directly sent to me. So I can be like, oh good, Coral was able to handle that today. So we like these in general. So she still has to work on all digital ads being completed. But yeah, so that is to-dos. What's nice about to-dos too, if you go home and you go to your schedule, you'll see on there any of your to-dos will pop up on here. So anything that you are personally assigned to will appear on your schedule, and you can add it to your Google Calendar, your Outlook Calendar, or your iCal. You can also easily see your assignments in one place. So if you want to see all of the ones that you are attached to, which I create these for myself, then you can do that by just looking at your assignments. Okay, next is scheduling. So we have a Google Calendar for all of our school events, and it works out really good for that, but it's really bulky. You know, a single day can have 10, 12 events in it that people have to read through. And so when it comes to things like work nights and editor meetings and deadlines, we have this schedule, which is easier to keep track of and we can see on our own. Now, it still updates to our Google Calendar, so they can still see the stuff on our Google Calendar, but they can also come here and just keep track of it here. And they also have the notification set up, so it will ping them when it's like the day of or the day before as a reminder. So we all get those notifications when we're assigned to them, and it helps us to keep on track and not forget, hey, my photo day is coming up, or hey, oh yeah, tomorrow Mrs. Hanks is going to be here after school to work on things so I can stay if I need to. And once again, we can always add these to our calendar. And there's a couple other resources on here that aren't as helpful to us. The file management, the to-do lists, and the scheduling are three big things we do. What also works out great for us is like on our schedule, actually it's probably mental leadership. We have our meetings every Friday. And so when we have these meetings, we can post notes to it, and that could be helpful as a resource to us going back and looking at it later. So that's really helpful. Other options for things to do are things like pings. So once again, we use Slack for communication. So it's rare that we have pings being used just to chat, but we do use them for file sharing. So Grace is my photography editor, and today I asked her to send me some photos of me teaching students, so tomorrow we can do a caption lesson and they can interview me and we can work on caption writing and getting good details into our captions. So she pinged them over to me. We do this because Slack does not have unlimited space. So as far as file management goes, Slack just it just isn't good at it. It doesn't have good management of it. There's not a lot of good places to put things that are easy to find. So pings are for when we want to send something that maybe we don't need forever, but is a file. And then we'll, of course, put it into docs and files should we need to be able to see it later. Other things you can do is check out your activity. And this is going to be all of the things that have been going on right now. So Grace just went ahead and scheduled out her grading of all of the different photo days that are happening soon. And she checked off grading one of them. Emily uploaded a new updated ladder. So if I didn't know she did that, I could come in and be like, oh, what'd she change on the ladder? Let's have a conversation about that. So activity is a great way to kind of keep track of where kids are at and what they're working on. And it gives you the space to kind of look at progress and work. So that is activity. There are some other things that we do not use that much anymore. So when we first started, we had message boards we would use for things. This has become more of a collection of things we don't really use anymore. So I can post here, and I can't notify kids of stuff, but I just found out that they really just prefer Slack. So we don't use these as often, but this is a way to kind of organize things for review later. Another thing that we don't really use anymore are the automatic check-ins. I used to use these every week at the beginning and at the end of the week. So, hey, what are you doing this week? And then at the end of the week, hey, what did you do? And if you didn't achieve a goal, what are you going to do to make it up? So just forcing them into those reflections. We've kind of shifted into Google Forms for that and more detailed and less often because I really wanted them to reflect on their learning process and practice that metacognition. So while, yes, this was a great resource and you may prefer to use this as a system, we just decided not to do that as often. But that is a way for those of you guys who do weekly reflections to have those check-in points, and it automatically does it so you don't have to remember to say, hey guys, remind me to let you know or remind me to give you that assignment for reflection. And that is how we use Basecamp. So lots of resources, lots of ways to organize yourself and your life and your work, and the kids really do now like it. It did take a little bit of time because its functionality is just a little bit more complicated than the other apps we use, but now I wouldn't trade it for anything. And you'll notice that we are using the Basecamp for Education. That is free for educators. You just have to email them. And I just wanted to quickly show you Slack and to see how we use it differently. So mostly we use our general tab. So here's a really good example, 4 o'clock today. Hey everyone, what should I do from the auditorium and the pics are coming out grainy and dark? So big questions to the whole group are still pushed through general. We have, our separate tabs for different things. We have our brag board set up on Slack for, great job so-and-so for doing this. And there's private messaging for things that we don't want to bother everyone with. So, somebody might message me something about what they're working on, colors, whatever it is that we need to be talking about on an individual basis versus the whole group together. So these are usually smaller requests or questions that they have for me. And Slack's great for those of you guys who do not have it. It allows you to snooze notifications, to create a do not disturb schedule, so you can still have a bit of a break from the kids when you're at home. And I think that's everything. I hope you guys find some type of resource from this that is helpful to you in your educational practice, and good luck.